That should do. Should be ready to go. Yep, there we are. We're live. All right. Hey, there's Devi. Thank you for the subscription. 15 months. Since the very beginning. Thank you so much, Devi. We always appreciate you. Okay. So Duvi is here. I'm going to message our first VOD reviewee, Ashik, about when they would be available to get started. Because we really could get started right now, get a head start, and do that right away. Or, if we have enough people to play an in-house, we could get that going. Already in the waiting room. Alright. Yeah, okay. I think what we'll do is we'll kind of speedrun Ashik's VOD review here. We'll just start that right off the bat. Always there to support. Oh, thanks, Devi. Appreciate that. So we'll get Ashik's going right away. And then, hopefully, by the time that's all done, we'll have enough people assembled here to be able to play a match for Desmoki that we can then use for the VOD review right away. So I'm actually going to pop into the waiting room really quick and explain that plan to them in case they're not watching right away. Hi there, folks. Desmoki, Ashik, you both here?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so my plan right now is to go through Ashik's VOD review immediately since they are here right away. And then as soon as that's done, hopefully we'll have people, watching, viewers, who are willing to play in the in-house so that we can get a recording made for Desmoki. It's the same way that we did a recording for Ashik earlier. This is an in-house that we did together that we're going to be watching here. So if you're able to stick around for that Desmoki, that would be my plan. If you have somewhere that you need to be later on, then let me know and we can try and hurry that along. But I think that's the plan at the moment. All right, sounds good. Perfect. Did you hear everything I just said?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So the plan right now is that we're going to be doing Ashik's VOD review immediately. So earlier than we expected, and that way, then, as soon as that's done, we should have some viewers in the chat who are going to be able to join us for our in-house, our little scrim, so that we can get you a recording. And then we should be able to do the VOD review off of that. That sound good?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. So I'm going to drag Ashik up into the other call here with me. You can hang out in the stream if you want to, and I'll let you know on stream when to hop into the Discord call.
Okay.
Alright. Welcome to the super secret Discord channel that nobody else can hear and be
Okay,
part
there
of.
it goes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yep, I had to switch
Awesome. Okay.
networks real quick, but we're good.
So let me just get the video lined up here a little bit, because it's going to be a little bit complicated sharing to Discord. I think we can just do it this way. Okay. So you should be able to see this now, and then, boom. Stream should now be able to see the recording we're looking at. So I will pause for just a second to make sure that there are no technical issues going on here. But I think we got it all. So, what's up, Lunar Star and Zach and Night Song? Good to see you all here. Looks good. Okay, awesome. So, we played an in-house with, so this is going to be a mix of, X rank players, and I think we go down to B rank players in here. But this is the crew that we were able to play with Ashik with. Ashik is going to be playing the KMachine. Could I ask your pronouns really quick? I don't remember if I've asked those before.
She, no
She.
problem.
All right, gotcha. So she's playing the KMachine, and we played 3 matches, I believe.
Yeah, it was two splat zones and 1 tower control.
Right. So I want to focus primarily on the Piranha Pit zones map here, although there was one particular thing that I wanted to point out from an earlier match that I'll probably go back to. I think all of these end in knockouts, so they're a little bit shorter than the average match will typically be. And so we'll jump around a little bit if we've got a little bit of extra time, because there's one particular moment I wanted to point out in the Mako Mart match. So,
Okay.
oh, you can hear our see that. Thank you, Devi. That was the kind of thing that I was hoping to avoid here.
I was gonna mention that, but
So let's see.
just weird in there.
That's weird because that actually shouldn't be coming through. Let's do that. Oh, that's the wrong thing. We'll do that. And that should have muted it. Here, your switch just hit the home screen. I guess that works. Okay, that didn't fix it. Weird. All right. Yeah, that's a decent enough solution. We'll work with that for now. So, here we go. All right, here we go. Oh, I'm going to mute that because that's going to be coming through. It'll be my own little commentary over the top of it, which we don't need right now. That'll be distracting. Okay. So, I'm glad you're checking the map here. We get to take a look at what we're up against. We've got Devi on the Hydra going right here, and then the rest of y'all are going left. This is a very, very incredibly specific tactic, but I'll point it out just because it's something that has helped us a lot as a team. When Devi goes right here, if Devi, as the Hydra, just has one person drawing aggro in this area right here, you can see my mouse on the screen, right? Are you able to see that over the Discord video stream? Okay.
Yeah.
And hopefully that means that stream will be able to see it as well. Let me just pull that up to make sure that that's the case.
They're able to see it.
Awesome. Thank you, Avery. Can be seen. So if you have someone like a frontliner just distracting in this area, they don't even have to like go in. They just have to like exist there and give these guys something to shoot at. Devi as the Hydra has a really great vantage point to just like mow them down if they're not taking cover quickly. This area is really powerful for her. So that's like insanely specific. That's the sort of thing you would talk about on a coordinated team doing. But it is generally a good policy not to necessarily leave someone alone unless maybe they're the backliner. Going all out in the same direction might mean that one person gets collapsed on and they might be in some trouble. But in general, this is fine. Like going out in this direction, good idea. The left zone is the one that you have the best chance of getting control of early. So it's good to at least get that one on the board so that even if the other one gets painted, then it's still neutral. So far, so good. We throw out Fizzy Bomb here. We can see that there's somebody up here. We can see that there's somebody over here. There's been a trade. So, oh, and it looks like the Hydra has gone down as well. Oh, so the Hydra was the trade. And then your Carbon just went down. So you're at a slight disadvantage right now. It's a 2v3. And this Booyah Bomb, you see them going up in the air. And what I would say about this decision to move left here is that it splits you apart from your teammate. You've got your NZAP player here who is doing a lot of painting, trying to provide some support. As soon as you see this go up, I would think, okay, where are they going to put that? They're maybe going to put that on the zone. That would be one really obvious place for them to put it. They might try to put it behind you on the spawn belt, in which case you would want to move left away from it. They might try and put it on the left, in which case you'd want to move right. And the thing is, you and your teammate here make different decisions. It lands there. I would want to be backing up, actually, even though the spawn belt might be pushing you into it, so maybe that was less safe. I don't know. But what ends up happening here is... Oh, no, yeah, okay. So you made the right choice, actually, because Jamie gets taken out by that. I wasn't thinking about the spawn belt there.
I was worried I was going to run into that the area next to the sponge if I went with the NZAP.
Yeah, the issue there is that the conveyor belt is pushing you backwards, so you're not going to move away from it as fast. And so yeah, you go the only direction that you can to survive. But the problem at this point is that your entire team is down now, and so after this, so you've lost 2 members, and now the Booyah's going out. You also see them pushing in on the left, so you know there's going to be pressure from here in addition to this. If you're going to go left, you need to realize it is not safe for you to be there. Like, you want to be keeping your distance, maybe throwing some fizzy bombs at best. But you try and kind of like establish yourself here. You throw a couple of shots, and they're already on your zone. So this is a position where you don't have any help. The enemy team has got plenty of paint. You're kind of stuck at this point. So I'd say either like run all the way away and just jump back to spawn, or at best maybe like throw some fizzies to try and annoy them and make it more difficult for them to move in on you like they do. So you go down here, and part of the concern about you going down here is your teammates are back up that now, and until you get up until about like mid-level X rank, you have to expect that your teammates are probably just going to try and go in and do things, even if you're down, that they're not going to be paying a huge amount of attention to how many people are up. And so if they push into like a disadvantaged state, they might go down, and you might kind of get into this loop where you're feeding and staggering. I think you've seen the S+ video.
Yep. Yep.
So in a situation like that, like when you know you've got a disadvantage, they've used a special effectively, they've got paint control, preserve your life and work from there. Aggressing the zone there was not the most important thing to happen, because you weren't going to win out against, especially like an arrow spray that's pushing onto the zone there against you. All right, so it looks like you're doing okay. The 3 of you were able to stay up. The carbon went down, but this is a position where you might be able to start taking some paint control back and doing some things. There's nobody moving with you in this direction. I'm worried that
Jem, I'm experiencing like awful stream lag. Can you give my network just a quick second?
Okay, sure thing. Is it like you're looking at it on Discord, or are you looking at it on Twitch?
Discord.
On Discord.
It just bugged out. Okay, I think it's good now. But
okay. Would it be better to work off the Twitch channel, or?
I think it's good now. It'd be worse probably on Twitch.
Okay, fair enough. So you make this move towards right. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I didn't get anything past the respawn.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll back it up.
Sorry about that.
Okay. So I'll pause it here. Give it a second to catch up.
Yep, it's good. It's good now.
Cool.
So. Yep.
So at the moment you've got 3 up. Your carbon roller went down at some point, but you've got some resources at least to start moving in. It looks like you see that there's a Booyah bomb there, so you're like, okay, well, if they're over here, I want to be on the opposite side of that, which I don't think is a bad thought at all. If you're going to go this way and aggress, one thing I'm worried about is that there's no paint of yours between this patch, right, these 2 patches right here. So I would make sure to get a slosh at least through that, instead of just hopping across with the fizzy bomb. Because if this person were to just hold forward and try and aggress on you, you being, you know, a long-range weapon, you're probably going to want to kite them back. And so if that were to happen, you would need a path to run back through. And you don't really have an escape route that gets you all the way out of that situation if they were to rush you there. Now, because they didn't rush you, because there were missiles coming out and all sorts of other things, you're able to just kind of take this position. And what we're about to see is the most viable use of splashdown that I think is available in the game, which is right here on Piranha Zones. If you jump high enough in the air, it takes a backliner to be able to shoot you out because of how high up you are and how much range they need to shoot you. And it covers the entire zone, clears them completely out. I really like that use of splashdown. It's good that you're being aware that there might still be people around this splashdown, that you know you have the numbers on it to contest it, but that you're also being careful so you don't just go down needlessly, and your teammates are able to follow up and you get them out of there. So that was a good play on the zone. I like that you're painting up a little bit back here just so you have some room to move. I like that you're rotating over here because you see, okay, there's something happening over here. There's a lot of blue ink. They might need my help. One thing that I would like you to be doing, especially in that part where you were painting behind the conveyor, is to be checking your map. Because the Booyah Bomb alerts you, okay, there might be something going on over here, but if you check your map, you would get more detailed information, and it wouldn't take a Booyah Bomb to move you over to this side of the map. You would know, okay, there's stuff happening over here without even needing to see that. So that would be a good thing to see, but so far, pretty good. Trying to get a little bit of paint control on the left. I would definitely, while I'm swimming there, I would do a quick check to the right just to make sure nobody's rushing me in the meantime. But it looks like your NZAP player isn't like turning to shoot at them or anything, so you're fine there.
Yeah, I saw Jamie over there, and I wasn't sure if they were taking care of someone that was hanging back behind them. So I drove
Gotcha.
over to see if they needed help or not.
From the body language that I saw from Jamie, it looked like he was just painting. It looked like usually, you know, if he's getting into combat, he might be like swim strafing. He's going to be painting an escape route a little bit more carefully, that sort of thing. So that kind of clued me in that now he's probably just cleaning it up there. But that's not a bad thought. You know, if you think that he might be in trouble, absolutely going in to give him some assistance is the right play when you've got, you know, a numbers advantage. All right. So you go over here. Let me back up for one very minor thing. So yeah, you can see here, like, he's facing this way. If he's fighting someone who's running away, they're probably going to be retreating in the other direction.
Yeah.
So probably not anything going on there, but minor thing. So your teammates have got a couple players down now. It looks like they did actually pick someone off on the conveyor here. We saw a couple of players turning and looking at that, and then someone went down. It doesn't look like you turned to see what's going on the conveyor, and that's something that I would do before I pushed in here. You like, if these two people are fighting someone and that someone got away, if you just run straight under the ledge, they have your back. They're like, you're not looking at them, and they can just shoot at you. So that'd be something I'm a little bit concerned about, but they do end up going down, so it's not a problem here. This part right here, you can see that this person is already moving left, and so I would be looking at this and anticipating they're going to show up on the left side of this cover and trying to be sloshing over on the left-hand side first. If they had just stood and fired at you here, they would have the entire time it takes for you to get another slosh out to be hitting you, and if they'd had their aim on, that could have actually been dangerous. As it is, you end up just kind of going your separate ways here. You decide to leave that alone. It looks like you've got a Hydra over here, so you might not have needed to drop to help them out. A Hydra is going to be really powerful at holding a line like that. Like, they can 1v3 if they try to engage at the wrong range. So you might not have needed to drop here since you had such an advanced forward position that you had this really good control over. You might have benefited from just staying in there for a little longer, or maybe sharking in this alleyway or something. The reason I'm not as big a fan of you falling down is just that now you can't see anything that's on the left side of the map here.
Yeah.
And so if someone were to come from that direction, you wouldn't have as much warning. You do return there, though, and you're able to get a pick on the K-Pro, so that was really good. Nice. So you're seeing that this one drops down here, and you're immediately taking cover. You're zoning this person away so that they can't hit you. I like this positioning. I like how you're kind of poking out at them. You can see with the missiles that they've dropped off to the left, and so you rotate over here. You see that they have armor, so you're not pushing in too hard, just maybe trying to get the armor off and then back away. There are two on the conveyor here, and turning the camera away from them is a little bit concerning. I guess you're going for the splashdown strat again. But you had a teammate over here, and they got split from you with the Booyah. And so that would be a concern of mine that, like, I don't want my teammate to get rushed by these two players who I saw had armor, who I know were on the left side. But you're able to take the zone back, because it's the one that goes down, and you get a couple of assists off that. So this game is going really smoothly. I think a lot of it, you can see here from the KA, the Hydra is really cleaning up. It looks like they're taking some unsafe positions, and so you just end up at a numbers advantage more often than they do. So you haven't really been forced to straight up outplay. You've been able to just kind of hold positions and paint where you need to, support your teammates where you need to, and that's been enough so far. And the Booyah Bomb there is just GG. That was kind of a panic option that they chose, but I understand why they would go for it, being rushed down by 2, but they also don't have the paint output fast enough to cap a zone or anything, so they're just kind of stuck at that point, and that's the game. So I'd say the major things are minor adjustments to what you're focusing on, like with your camera control and where you're positioning in response to that. So like when you're seeing people, you're doing a pretty good job of putting yourself in a great like bucket range to be able to annoy them. I like the idea that you have that when you see a teammate who you think might be in a fight, that you're rotating to them to potentially help. So that's really awesome. I think your positioning could be slightly more aggressive to take more advantage of the buckets going up over the top of ledges. And that is an example that I wanted to show you from the Mako Mart match from earlier. Let me find where that was. Okay, here we go. So it's the beginning of this match, I want to say. There's a part here. Mm-hmm.
I think I know what part you're talking about.
So there's a part in here where there's an explosher that you start pushing. Is that what you were talking about?
Oh, no, I thought you were talking about... I think it was the carbon I got behind a... It was way earlier in the match. I don't think it was the same thing, because it was a carbon, I think it was.
Do you see how it glitched out just now on the
Yeah.
camera there? That's so wild. I have no idea what what movements even happened there. You're just kind of on street now. Like, you jump way out there, and then you go back the other way. Like, oh, that was so confusing. Anyway. So the team gets control here. This is it right here. So you see right here that this is the explosher, because it's the way that they just shot.
Mm-hmm.
So they have range on you for sure. And I think what's happening is you, as like a midline weapon, you're used to more often having to kite someone back than having to rush someone. You're not very fast and effective at rushing someone because you can't swim strafe very fast. And so you're more used to like wanting to back up and stay at the very edge of your range. Here, though, what happens is the Explo is using cover, and you could slosh up and over that cover. You just need to be a little bit closer. You're kind of covering this area, and you're covering this area. And I think you even throw a slosh over the top side of it right there. But that's not going to go far enough to go over the top and hit them. And so the play there actually is to push further forward, because for one thing, that makes it a lot harder for the Explo to hit their shot. They have to aim way higher to get up and over the top, and it's more complicated for them to hit you because your hitbox is huge and it's shorter range, and they have to like lean way up and break their necks to hit high enough, hop enough into the sky to get that shot. So I would have actually pushed in a little bit further, especially since you guys had already cleared out the right side a little better, and so you're not super worried about someone pushing you from freezer just yet. I think the Explo probably could have gotten 2 hits here and taken you down based on how long you were exposed and how you weren't doing damage before they were. So at this point, you're forced to back up. So it's that kind of a position where, like, you have this unique advantage having the KMachine and that hitbox that'll go up over ledges for you, where you can stand to be a little bit more aggressive. You don't have to treat every fight like it's on flat open ground. If your weapon has that kind of an advantage to it, abuse that advantage as much as you can. Even to the extent of like taking the fizzy bomb and throwing it over the top. Like there you threw it at the ground next to it. If you think that there's someone here, throw it behind there, because that'll really flush them out. That'll make it really tough. And at that point, if you actually hit them with that, you can just hit a direct and one-shot them. Don't even have to get the second shot. So we saw that a little bit on the Piranha Pit map, where you weren't pushing to take advantage of the ability to hit over those ledges. Those are really great places to kind of spawn camp people until they catch on to you. So that's something that if you wanted to play a little bit more aggressive, I think you definitely could in those positions. But I think your positioning is generally really good, and I think that we've figured out about as much as we can from the matches that we have. if you were in more of a coordinated team environment, there's more that we might be able to talk about with things like teaming with other players, knowing where to push at the time, knowing where the enemy is weak, things like that. But I think, for the kind of solo queue mentality that you would have had it going into this lobby, basically with teammates you'd never met before or anything, I think you're doing a really standout job here, and you won, I think, all of the matches that we've seen here. So pretty good there. Are there any things that you specifically want some advice on? Are there any like nagging questions in your head that you've been trying to figure out over some time and haven't gotten?
I know I mentioned this in the Splatoon talk chat. How, especially for a sloshing machine, because I know you said slosher, should swim strafing or sub strafing be something I should really try to put effort into learning? Because right now I'm kind of struggling with it. I tend to let go of the sub button way too late and release a fizzy bomb when I don't want to, which drains out my ink. So I'm just kind of struggling with that, and because I use a main of swim speed with my sneaky beanie, and I'm just wondering if I can kind of get away with not having it or not relying on substrafing too much with a sloshing machine, or if I should really dedicate some effort into it.
So there's swim strafing, which at this point I'm actually gonna switch the screen over to my game so that I can go into the training room and show you this stuff.
Okay.
So, and this will be, this honestly might just be a segment that I put onto the YouTube channel anyway, because I've been asked this by multiple people in the last like 12 hours. So I think it bears mentioning. We'll just not bother with the gear at the moment. So there are really two kinds of strafing that we've just talked about, and they have about the same effect, but they're very different in execution and the ability of different weapons to accomplish them. So there's main strafing or shot strafing. I'll sometimes just call it swim strafing, but that might be a little confusing based on because I would say both sub strafing and main strafing are swim strafing. So shot strafing is you shoot, you swim, you shoot. Shoot, swim, shoot. And you're just going back and forth between the ZR and ZL buttons.
Jim? So the game is a little laggy on the stream. I think it's either dropping frames or just wanna let you know before you get too far into showing the
Thank you.
Showing how to play the game.
That's important for me to fix.
Just a little bit.
So I'm gonna restart the capture card real quick. That should fix it. No, it did not fix it at all. What the heck?
Yeah, and your face cam is working just fine. It's
Right.
not lagging or anything. Hmm.
People are saying the mic dropped when the capture went black.
Oh.
Okay, check, 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 check.
Yep, now it's coming through on the stream.
Okay. Oh, and that seems to have fixed the... Okay. No,
there we go.
Not quite, not quite.
Oh.
Deactivate, reactivate real quick. Okay, that seems better now. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Sorry about that. The audio mixer that I have on my computer crashed, and so that dragged everything down with it. Here we go. And I don't know why that's on my screen. Okay. Yeah, it's still a little bit choppy. That's bizarre. In any case, so shot strafing. It's basically just alternating ZR and ZL and trying to keep your aim on the target as you move left to right. So this is something that you'll see the vast majority of shooter weapons do, primarily. The reason being, it is actually a little bit slower than sub-strafing, which we'll get to in a second. But the advantage is that as soon as you're done, you are shooting. As soon as you're, like, stopping moving, it's gonna come out with shots instead of just, like, moving you there. So both of these two methods of movement, they're used for making quick direction changes, which are very useful for combat. It's something you would use main strafing for. But even just for basic movement, just to get places quickly, if I were to, let's say, try and swim around this corner and just use the joystick, what's going to happen is you can see as I go back and forth, I'm having to stop, change direction, and then I'm taking a fairly wide curve around this. Like, I'm not taking the corner as sharp as I could be. Whereas, if I do this... That was a bad camera angle. If I do this... The direction change is immediate. I don't have this period where I'm slowing down. This is actually significantly faster than just swimming. So anytime you want to make a direction change that's more than like 60 degrees or so, using some form of strafing is always going to be faster. So this is something you can do with shooting. Now, one disadvantage of shot strafing is that when you shoot, that ink that's flying past an opponent or near an opponent, it's visible for them, and it's also something they're going to hear. If you fire past someone, you get this audio cue that shots are just barely whiffing past you. So if you end up shooting near someone, they're going to hear that, and that's going to give away your location. One way that you can do that where you're not going to be giving away your location and you don't have to fire shots and it doesn't require ink is sub-strafing. So the way that sub-strafing works, for those who don't know, and I know Ashik knows how this works, is you're using the animation of being about to throw a sub-weapon. It's not the same as actually throwing the sub-weapon. You don't want to throw the sub-weapon. You want to just get them in this position where they're standing like they're about to for a split second. Because if I do this, I'm holding ZL right now this entire time here. And if I press the R button while I'm holding ZL, I still pop up out of the ink. That's all I really need to be able to do to cancel my momentum, is pop up out of the ink with something. So I'm going to sub-strafe, which means I'm going to slow this down, swim, pop up, and then before I release the R button, because releasing the R button right now throws the bomb, before I release the R button, I press ZL to cancel that, and then I let go of the R button so I don't throw it on the back end or something. So I'll do this really slowly. And now I'll do it a little bit faster. And that's how you take a corner optimally in Splatoon. That is the fastest movement that is available for you to take turns like that, is to sub-strafe around. I think for every single weapon, sub-strafing is faster than shot strafing. Like we've mentioned before, for shooters, it's still going to be advantageous for you to shot strafe if you're in a fight. So, like, if I'm actually, like, shooting at someone and that's the reason I'm changing direction to throw their aim off, it's going to be better for me to do this kind of strafing so that I'm as difficult to hit as possible while still dealing damage in return. But if you're just straight up moving, you want to use sub-strafing. And there are some weapons where shot strafing is just not viable for, I think, reasons that will become obvious when I pick the dynamo. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna main strafe. Oh man,
Oh, Lord.
I'm so speedy. Oh, look at how much time I'm saving with this directional change advanced technique. Yeah, it's a terrible idea for a lot of different weapons.
The new Splatoon 3 meta is just this.
Yes.
You're just moving faster than we can process. That's what's happening.
Want to see me run to that mountain and back? Want to see me do it again? So,
Yeah.
sloshers are another one of those weapons that do not benefit from main strafing in the slightest. The most they're going to do in terms of moving through while shooting is they're going to be running. And so I'm actually surprised that I was looking up KMachine builds before this to see kind of what people are running roughly, and I was surprised how little run speed I was seeing, considering how much of I guess maybe they're doing stuff like this where they take a shot and then just like swim somewhere else before they take another shot. Maybe this is something that they're doing more often.
That's kind of what I typically have seen playing Sloshing Machine. I do see a couple of subs being utilized in a lot of Sloshing Machine builds, but usually it's more swim speed that I've been seeing prioritized, because it's mostly throw out, dip into your ink, then throw back out. Kind of more of a kiting technique than staying out of the ink.
Like this sort of thing is really common that I see. So like you get a shot, you kind of do this sort of thing. Maybe you throw in a jump if they're getting close to you. So that's sort of your combat movement, and it's great for that. But if you're trying to get around corners with main strafing, that's not viable. For that, you need to be sub-strafing. So basically, to answer your question, yes, learn both. And yes, it is going to be a problem for a while that you accidentally, let go of the R button too early and throw that sub. Because one of the easy mistakes to really slow it down to make with this technique, for those who are confused about what I'm talking about, is you swim, you stop your momentum, and then before you press ZL, you release the R button and then swim. And so it comes out like this. And that, you'll still do the movement exactly as fast as you would otherwise, except for the amount of time it takes to throw the bomb, which is minimal. The problem with that is that it's going to deplete your ink tank by mistake and also give you away. So the trick here is to learn to hold the R button down for longer than you think you need to. Make sure you're just holding the R button down for longer so that you have time to get your finger on the ZL button. And that is how you will prevent yourself from throwing that. Because once you're in the ink, so I'm holding down R right now, once you're in the ink, I'm letting go of the R button and nothing happens. It's not like I'm going to pop up and throw a bomb. So the reason that you would throw the bomb is that you are holding the R button down for too short a time, and it's actually releasing before you're able to get the ZL button down.
Okay.
Welcome, Bab. Hello. So that's sub-strafing. For you, that'll be a movement technique. The most technically demanding moment that I think you will need it for, besides just like if you want to roll out and just be super fast about doing it, which is valuable, especially on like a competitive team or an X-ranked team. Rolling out to the middle of the map faster than the other team is a huge advantage. It gets you the pop and Rainmaker. And that is, a massive pain advantage that you get at the beginning of the game. So, knowing how to move around the map optimally, like a speedrunner would, is very, very good. But it's less important, I would say, until you get up to that level. For now, the biggest thing that I would say you really need to learn it for is for dodging bombs. So if you're doing stuff and you're, like, swimming in one direction, and then, like, if I'm swimming straight ahead and a bomb lands right there, I can't get past this bomb by, like, a splat bomb, so it's going to explode pretty quick. I can't get past this bomb by swimming past it. It's going to explode while I'm still in its radius. And if I just change direction by going this way and then holding backwards, I'm sitting inside that bomb's radius for longer than I want to be. So the best, you know, tactical reason to be using substrafing right now, I would say, for you, is you see that bomb, you substrafe away from that bomb. You're like, oh, nope, I'm out of there. And that's your fastest way to change direction so that you're not swimming at something dangerous. All right. So that's my treatise on strafing, I guess. Is there anything else you had questions about?
Nothing that really comes to mind.
And if something does come to mind, you're perfectly welcome to ask me on, like, Splatoon Talk in the Bravous channel. You know, I'm happy to answer questions there as well. Come on another Squid School and ask in the chat. All valid ways of finding me. But figure, while you've got my ear, good opportunity to ask me.
Bit of a random one. Should I stay on the tower or go in front and defend the tower and tower control? Because usually I get on the tower because I find that in solo queue there's kind of a confusion on who gets on it, so I'm just like, fine, I'll hop on it and ride it the whole time. So
it depends.
I mean, I guess that's solo queue though.
So, like, if you're playing a supportive playstyle, generally it is best for you to be the one on the tower. Like, if you're letting your teammates push in front of you and you're supporting them, like I think I've seen a bit, then I would definitely be the one on the tower. If you're playing a more aggressive playstyle, like if you're doing those things where you're kind of pushing up to ledges, trying to force people back, then you're better served being the person who's pushing your opponents away from the tower. But, you know, even I, as a splatter shot, take the tower sometimes. There's always a situation where you might need to be the one who gets on. And so, for example, let's say that you've got a Charger who's currently on the tower, but they've got a Stingray. Ideally, they use that Stingray to help you get through a checkpoint. And so if they're on the tower, that's going to make them more vulnerable than if they back up. If they get off the tower and back up, you want to be, you know, in position to be able to hop on and keep scoring points. So in that kind of a situation, you know, you want to be the one there for sure. Because that Stingray is going to get you more value than just one person pushing up with their main weapon. It really depends on the comp, because there might be comps where you've got like a double backline or something, and you are the most aggressive weapon on the team comp. I end up on teams with like an E-Leader and a Hydra sometimes, where it's like, okay, if it's not for me, nobody is going to be able to aggress at all. I need to play like out of my mind aggressive just to keep them away from my backliners right now. So in some situations, you know, you may need to play more aggressively than in others. This is something that you would definitely be talking about in a competitive context, where if you've got teammates, you're figuring out with them ahead of time, like, okay, should I be the tower rider here? And you're, you know, making your cases for why that might be in every case. In solo queue, basically, you're not a bad person to be riding the tower at all, but if there's something better you could be doing, or if someone's offering to do it, you can definitely kind of push up and do some other stuff. Because I think fizzy bombs are going to be great for, like, zoning people away from the tower. If there's, like, a ledge that you need to push the tower underneath, you getting up and doing this over the top of it is huge for keeping the tower safe. So you definitely have more utility than just, I ride tower.
Yeah. Alrighty, I think that's pretty much all I can think of for the moment. I appreciate you filming the... I appreciate everyone that came to do the 4v4 and you respectating it and taking the time to review all this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciated getting destroyed by you.
All right. So thank you, Ashik. Next up, we are going to pull Desmoki in. So Desmoki, you can start heading into the waiting room on the Bravous Community Discord voice chat. We will say toodaloo for now to Ashik. And we'll bring Desmoki in. We need to play a match with Desmoki first. So everybody in the chat who wants, we're going to get a PB going so that Desmoki can join, we can spectate them, and then after the fact, we can watch their gameplay. Hi there, Desmoki. We're not hearing you just yet, Desmoki. I don't know if you're saying anything yet. Well, we'll get that worked out. In the meantime, I'm going to get the private battle opened up. There's no password. Just hop on in, everybody. Nice. Plus 14. What? Okay, Desmoki is muted for the time being. I'm going to go get a drink of water, and then when I'm back, I expect to see this lobby filled, dang it.
Oh, this stream is all mine. I have stolen it from Jim. Hehehe. Ah, got your mic working, Smokey?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
All right.
My stuff.
Your stuff.
I forgot to introduce myself at the start of the stream. I kind of just hopped on, but I'm one of the other coaches, Avery or Quintastic. Just hanging out. I've been hanging out in the chat, just kind of almost lurking. But yeah.
All right. So Desmoki, I am going to message you my friend code so that you can join in on this. Got 5 people in here so far. There's a 6th. Let's go. Just need one more person plus Desmoki in here, and then we've got a full lobby, and we're going to be able to play it. Oh, wait. Actually, we need 2 more, now that I think about it, because I need to be able to spectate. So we're getting close, but not there yet. Hey, Hecka, you play Squid Game. Come play Squid Game.
Play Squid Game with us.
Hi, Banana. Anybody who plays Squid Game, my friend code is here. Add me, and we will get you into this lobby. Just want as many folks as we can. Awesome. This is a PB that we are going to use to record Desmoki here. Oh, too much friendship. One sec.
Too much friendship.
I don't have a wired connection set up right at the moment, so I'm just going to head to the router.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a good thing to do. Always play on your wired internet if you possibly can. Kiddos, get those packets safely from point A to point B. Don't want them getting lost.
Yeah.
God, that's probably Brock, isn't it? I want to delete that person just because of their name, but I think that's Brock. I think I'm obligated not to do such a thing at this point. Let's see. Who is somebody I don't recognize? I don't recognize this person. Let's... Oop, nope, wrong. There we go. And we'll clear one more just for good measure. So we're getting a whole bunch of friend requests now. Okay. I really hope this isn't somebody that I know, but I don't think it is. I don't know why it takes this long to delete a friend request. It seems like a fairly simple procedure, but okay. Okay, so this should be Banana, I believe. I don't recognize you. You're my best friend, says Jamie. Well, oh man, that would be sad. All right, Splash, welcome. And we're friends.
Any second now.
Desmoki should probably accept that one at this point. Probably important. Holy moly. Okay, and that one is an old one that I don't recognize. It was probably just from an individual game. Okay, Heka's here, Desmoki's here. Perfect. Nailed it. All right, Desmoki, I will let you choose the map and the mode that we play here. Oh, right, he said he was going to do something with the router, so he's probably not back to the computer just yet. We'll give him a second.
Yes.
Sam says clam skipper, and Airsign says no.
just no. No clam skipper.
Oh, that's who iOS Air is. It's Airsign. That makes so much sense.
No.
I understand now. Hi. All right, and there's Banana as well. Can't fit iOS Airsign with a space. Yeah. Kyo was talking about how it's good. What's good? Oh, Clam Skipper, it's good. Not gonna lie, I can agree with the points that were made. Oh, why Clam Skipper is good? Yeah, like Clam Skipper, it's kind of like a brute force map. Like you really have to crack their base open hard, but you're also really close to their base, so there's just a lot of fighting that goes on. Like it's really exciting for sure. I also feel like it has this tendency to just like jam the map up with specials where you can't go anywhere. Yeah, like it feels it's linear, but it's like there are two paths that you can take from opposite directions. You can go left or you can go right, and that's all you got. You only have those two options, but they're very far apart from each other, so you have to commit your resources to defending one side or the other. And it's an interesting little, like, 50-50. Like, do I send 3 people to try to overwhelm the one person that they have guarding that direction? Hope that their teammates can't rotate fast enough? Or do I try and sneak something in with the weak side? Like, it's almost like the way that you divide the field up in football, the strong side and the weak side for running play. Desmoki, you there?
Yeah.
All right. Do you have a map mode that you would like to play on?
Anchovy games and splat zones, I think.
All right, Anchovy Zones is where we're going. All right, so I am spectating, and then let's see. So Airsign, I believe, is... We got Devi's X rank. So I'll try and split, like, that maybe, and then... Pretty sure Heka's X rank as well. We'll put him there. I think he's like X rank in some modes and not others, so that's pretty close. I think Airsign is right about that same area as well. Sunny, I don't actually recognize Sunny. Is that Enigma, like Jamie's team? I think that might be. Let me know if you recognize that. Hey, Jamie. Sunny is Jamie. Ah, okay, that makes sense. Dang, these teams are actually kind of stacked. We'll do it like that, I think. And then we'll put Desmoki on that side. And we'll put Banana on that side. And sorry, Avery, we'll have you sit up for this match. We'll rotate you next round.
I am totally fine with that.
I'm just trying to make sure that we've got teams that are somewhat even, as even as we can make them. So.
Yep.
That's kind of how I thought my way through it.
I'm not betrayed or anything, Chip.
So, here we go. Good luck, Squid friends. And Avery, just make sure to ready up so that if they all finish before you. Let me turn off notifications because I just realized I might get alerts from my own private stream from here. So, you know, the why are you following me and all that stuff. Sometimes that comes through on the Bravous stream, and it's funny, but it's probably not good. Okay. So I'm gonna actually, just so that I'm not talking in Desmoki's ear the entire time, I'm gonna move Desmoki to another chat real quick, and I'll move him back into ours once it's time to talk about it.
Okay.
Because when we start doing commentary on something that he's actively doing, that gets complicated.
Don't want to give away too much at first, right?
How could you separate Bab and I? You, Sam, Devi, and Bab together on one team does not balanced teams make. I'm sorry. And Bab and Devi, Bab and Devi are a little inseparable here. So. Okay, so we've got Desmoki playing, I think that's the Carbon Roller. Okay, cool. That's a lot of spin speed. Right. I respect it, though. I think that's definitely something that, especially short-range weapons like doing. So, got armor. Starting to move in. Ooh. And they just get colladed by a Firefin shot. Great work from Banana there. Desmoki heading out in this direction, knows somebody might be watching it, but sees they're marked. Oh, this is a good ambush. Takes out the charger there. Able to help the teammate. Distracting that other player. Now they're going to bomb rush in. Try and get some paint for themselves. And make it so that they can sneak up on any opponent who tries to advance. Fortunately, someone got in behind them, so he has to come back and deal with that. And now, yeah, wise move to back away. People are going down on the left-hand side. Whoa, that was a teleport. Oh man, this is scary. There's not a lot of paint. Charger's watching him. He's got a bomb rush out. Charger knows he's going to want to use that. Good job navigating that position. Doesn't get to use it for very much paint, though. Getting a good number of picks so far. I like that they're taking their time in like surveying to see what's around them here. We'll talk a little bit with them about their thought process as they were going through it, because I'm only going to see this the once before I start analyzing it, which is a little bit faster than usual. So it'll be good to have their, commentary on what the goal was there. Great right peek there from Sam. We'll talk about that concept. I think we talked about it last week, maybe? A week recently, we definitely talked about right peeking.
Was that with mine?
Might have been. I think it just came up incidentally in conversation. Ooh, I need to get to the zone. Okay, they take Sam out. Oh, it's so dangerous to drop down there, too. They need to go, they need to go, they need to go. They need to get rid of that Junior. Junior's down. Whole bunch of bombs. Oh, and they're not able to actually cap it. All right. So we can bring Desmoki back into the chat here now. And I will go and find the VOD. Oh, perfect. Okay, cool. I actually nailed it. I landed right on it when I clicked. I love to see it.
Perfect. Expert skill.
All right. So I'll close that. If y'all really want to keep going, I mean, feel free to make one of your own. I'm sure a lot of you guys have each other added, but we are going to swap over now to this window. And we're going to bring Desmoki back in. All right. Hello, Desmoki. Yes, Bab, we're playing one game because that's all we have time to VOD review. It would be different if we were recording it for a future week, but we are doing the VOD review now. So we need to have done it and then moved on pretty quick. I haven't played 52 in like 2 weeks. I mean, I'm sure there are a bunch of weapons that you could slay on that you haven't done like that in a little while. All right. So... Are you here, Desmoki? I don't think I've heard you yet. You able to hear?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just screen share real quick. Make sure that it's showing the right thing. There. All right. So you should be able to see that video feed, right? See my mouse moving around?
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Scam, I want my money back. You guys shush, okay? This is for Desmoki. You guys were helping Desmoki. We might be able to play a little bit at the end if we've got time, but only if you make sure to keep quiet when the teacher is talking, and we are able to get through this as fast as possible. Anyway. Can you tell I was an English teacher? Anyway. So looking at the comps here, I'm talking about the comps specifically because this is a private battle, and so y'all got to choose your weapons with knowledge of what everyone else was playing. Something that Bab did point out in the chat is that having 2 rollers might make this a little difficult. The Flings, it doesn't paint badly. It's not like... I feel like it's about average, probably, in terms of paint. It's not going to outpaint a Junior, but it's definitely not... like terabad at painting. But the Carbon, it's not even necessarily that the Carbon is bad at painting, just that the Carbon doesn't want to paint because it will give its location away. So we've got Devi on the Explo. Explo does paint a pretty good amount. It's especially fast at taking zone because it paints such big pieces of the zone. And we've got a Junior as well, so that's plenty of painting power between those 2 weapons. Paint... It's something that, like, this comp has some paint, it's just the other comp has way more paint. Junior is one of the best painters in the game, that's second only to things like the Sploosh or the Aerospray in terms of how much paint it can output. So that's just a crazy amount of paint right there. It looks like they're running double bomb. Hey, Air Sign. So Hamram, who was a coach of mine for a while, he'll appear on the top 500 video that's coming out. He was a high Div 1, arguably Div X Junior player. He thinks that Double Bomb Junior is basically never good. He thinks that if you're going to get Double Bomb, you should get it from Last Ditch Effort and 1 main of Sub Power Up, or of Sub Saver. And even then, that it's probably more important to do other stuff, to focus on special charge. The advantage really of the bombs with the Junior is that you can throw a bomb, have an impact with that bomb, and still paint for a while after you paint, or after you throw the bomb. The double bomb, there's not that much use for it because you just completely run out of paint after you've thrown both of them. So that's something I would point out about the Junior build that I literally just noticed and wanted to say on the fly. But back to...
They were talking about that in the chat a second ago.
There you go. Back to the point that I was making. So we've got a 52, which paints a ton now that the new patch happened. They increased its the size of its paint blotches by like 27% or something ridiculous like that. Like, it was huge how much they made this thing paint just on that patch alone. We've got a Splash-O-Matic, which is a painting machine. This thing's entire kit is amazing for painting. You can paint with burst bombs, you can paint with the bomb rush, and the main weapon itself is one of the better painting weapons in the game. So you've got a crap ton of paint coming out of these two weapons, way more paint than it has any right to have on this weapon. And then you've got a backliner, which is a charger, which chargers do paint about average because they have so much range, even though the fire rate is lower, because the shots are going out so far, and you can just kind of like walk in a line and make a perfect rectangle that's really long. They still actually do paint a decent amount when they actually intend to paint. The main reason chargers don't paint as much is that they're spending more time focusing on hitting their shots. They're not able to spend every second of the match focused on that tap shot paint mode. But this one has a bomb rush, so that kind of offsets it a little bit. The other comp basically outpaints you, and so the way that you need to play against a comp in splat zones that outpaints you is you need to splat them, and then you need to zone them out. You need to prevent them from getting their paint to the zone. And so that's where something like a carbon roller comes in, because you are an assassin. You're going to go and try to murder everybody with your roller of doom. So we'll talk about kind of the tactics that you're going to use to do that as you roll out. I don't hate the triple swim speed main, honestly. I think for any weapon that's relatively short range and relies on ambushes, you need to be able to close the gap really quickly. And the carbon roller, it's a lightweight weapon. It can take really good advantage of a lot of swim speed, so you're going to go zoom. There might be some other things that are valuable to you. For example, I know that a lot of roller players will run main power up for the added damage, especially with the carbon roller, because the one shot is very, very short range on that weapon. And so having the ability to effectively increase the range of the one shot capability, that can be useful for combat, but I don't think it ends up like hurting you in this match that you don't have that. So it's up to you to decide, I think. So we roll out, and it looks like you've got your junior is farming for armor, so they're going to have that shortly. If you see your, sorry, not your junior player, your NZAP player, if you see that they're painting for armor really quickly, then you can kind of anticipate, okay, they're going to have armor probably by about the time I get to the zone, and at that point I want to rush so that I can take advantage of that armor before the opposing side's armor goes off, or before they're able to really get situated. So what I'm thinking here, and I do not play this weapon, so maybe my advice about positioning is wrong here, but my thinking is I want to get as close as possible to the other team so that when that armor goes off, I'm able to just run in and jump them. The thing about armor is it's going to take away your stealth advantage. It's going to make it so they can see you because you glow. And on activation, it's going to point to directly where you are. So everyone on the other team, if they're really watching, are going to see that. So the surprise factor that you're going to be able to get, the element of surprise, that's what I was going for. The element of surprise isn't going to come from not being seen in this situation where you have armor that's about to happen. The element of surprise is going to come from, oh shoot, that carbon roller is right next to me, as I just found out because the armor gave it away and it's too late to move away, I'm already dead. That's kind of what you're really going for, I think. So you position here in mid, and I think that that's just too conservative for what you need to be doing in this situation. I think that I would like to see you maybe sharking underneath this ledge and trying to get a pick on this guy, or maybe hiding around this corner so that if someone tries to take their fan, you're in position to go for them. You could do something like go over here and hide under this ledge, although if your teammate pushes the fan up, then you're more exposed. But that would give you the ability to maybe like throw burst bombs down at people or just like drop on them and then duck around the corner again. I want to see you getting into a more advanced position than you're in right here. Because I think that you're out of range of everything that's happening. You're not in a position where you're going to be able to impact the game. You're not even in a position where you can paint the zone from here. So I would like to see you getting pushed further forward and maybe using this splash wall, maybe working alongside Bab here to try and get closer to the enemy team so that when the fight goes down here, you're ready to get some picks.
I just kind of was just hanging out.
Mm-hmm. The game moves pretty quick, and you being here, I like that you're taking in information and figuring out like where is everybody, what do I want to do next.
Yeah, that's probably yes, what I was doing.
But here's another way to put it: if you're behind your Explosher player as the carbon roller, you're either spawning back in or you should probably be in front of them. Devi's a smart backliner. If she's going to push this far up with the Explosher, that means that she thinks she's safe to be there, even though if someone got right on top of her, she would be dead. Now you're someone who can actually fight at that range, and so you can be at least as far as she is, probably further forward. Imagine, for example, that you're right here on the zone as this person comes around and doesn't see you. Like, that's a much stronger position for you to be in. But now that the fight is going down, you've got this armor that's up. You can't even use this armor. There's no fight that you're going to be able to take where the armor can help you because you're behind the entire remainder of your team as the fight is breaking out. And another unfortunate part of that is that you're not going to be able to paint the zone from where you're at. And so unless you get significant amounts of picks here, it's really stuttering a little bit for me. Unless you're able to get some really good picks here, it's going to be... Was it like this on stream? Was it stuttering that badly for everybody?
No. A little bit, yeah, earlier. It's...
That's unfortunate. Okay. But so this fight breaks out. They regain control. And let's see how long that lasts. Oh, right. So another advantage, I would say, of you moving into this position under this ledge is that you can watch this right flank, because this charger, this is a crazy flank for a charger to do. You probably wouldn't see something like that in competitive play, but they're able to make it work. They just sneak down here, and you do see a flank like that very often with like a short range weapon. And if you had been lurking over here, you would have seen that and you would have been able to deal with it. But as it is, you get collatted next to a pretty predictable piece of cover for you to be using. So this is a really clever flank from the charger here. So as it stands at the moment, you were basically not able to get in position to have an impact on that fight. And then your team and you unfortunately, with the collateral, they get picked off with a good play that the opponents make, and now you don't have paint control. You're kind of forced to reset. Devi and Jamie are the two that are up here, the Enzap and the Explo, and they're doing their darndest to make sure that the zone stays painted. You can see that it's hovering here, but we need to kind of get in there and get something done to make this effective. I like that you go this direction. I think in higher level competitive play, these players will see the paint going down here and will immediately know to look. They'll just be checking their maps if they're anywhere in this vicinity for paint going down in that direction, and they'll be visually checking it as well. So I think you get a little bit lucky here that nobody noticed you, because like the charger easily could have just like been pre-aiming you or flicked to you. I think this is the junior here. They could have, just dropped a bomb where you fell. But as it is, you get around behind them, which is awesome. You get a valuable pick on the charger. The aim is a little bit off here. Let me slow this down for a second. So, like, you get the pick on the charger, which is great. Right there, you see the juniors here. And then they go in squid form, and you can see the little, like, trail of purple. It's faint, but that's something that you can definitely follow, that I was following visually every time I saw it. And they end up over here. And it looks like your aim doesn't track with that super quickly. So, basically, that's just, like... being able to spot people and track them is a skill that you'll learn over time, but also keeping your aim in a place where you're able to snap it to where you've suddenly realized they are. Really important skill with a roller. You don't have the fastest fire rate, so every shot needs to count. Missing shots it's going to cost you more and more as time goes on, as you're coming up against, you know, splatter shot players or something that can aim. It'll be really hard for you to win a fight if you've missed once. So every shot needs to count, and missing there lets them get away. Now, Jamie has very good vision here and is coming to help you out by flanking around the other side of the pillar here. So you had armor and you hadn't been hurt, so you probably could have pushed around the other side a little bit more aggressively so that it wasn't like this 1v1 situation that Jamie had, but just by forcing the junior around the wall, you were already helping. So that fight goes in your favor. Now from here, you've got 3 people down. You want to like get into an advanced position at this point. You want to get to some place where basically the theory for splat zones is if you can control space in front of the zone, even if your entire team gets wiped in a fight, it will still take the other team like 5 seconds to just physically move themselves back to the zone so they can paint it. If you take a fight on the zone, then they can splat you and paint the zone at the same time. So when you get an advantage that's this big, you've got 2 specials, they've only got 1 player up who doesn't have special, and your entire team is alive, you, as the most aggressive weapon on this entire team comp, you should be just kind of holding forward, painting into enemy territory, and setting up a position where you can get an ambush as they try and drop in. The closer to their base that you can set up that ambush, the less likely they are to expect it. The more likely they are to just blunder into it, thinking they're still safe. So you want to be moving up faster. Rather than stalling right there, I would think, okay, I splatted 1 person, my teammate just splatted another, they're at least 2 down. Even without looking up at the top of the screen, I'm thinking, none of my teammates are down, 2 of them are down, I need to hold forward. I need to get up this pillar and get onto their plat and set up an offense. You take a while to position yourself on the plat. It takes you this much longer when you could have already been on here for a good 4 or 5 seconds. And I like the idea to bomb rush because it's going to paint a lot of their base here. But I think that you could have been up here having that impact earlier. And if you were up there earlier, you might have actually been able to prevent them from going right. You might have been able to get in their way before they dropped down and took out your Explo player. So that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. Like, play more aggressive when you have the advantage. I like that push. You're able to take the 52 out, so that kind of trades back for the advantage that they won from dropping there. And I like that you're choosing to back off here. You only have your Explo and yourself, and they have a couple of teammates that are up, including one that has an armor. So this isn't going to be the easiest fight to win at this point. Probably better to wait for your teammates to come back. Although you probably could be painting a little bit. Like, I know that's going to give your location away, but you're not ambushing anyone from your plat dropping into purple ink. It's just not going to be safe for you. So maybe just applying a little bit of zoning pressure, getting their attention somewhere in a safe way, you know, any of those things might have helped, and it might have helped you charge your special too. So now you're getting bomb rushed, as you can see from the lower right. Let's see what you do in response to that. Okay, you chase someone off from the fan here. Part of what I'm thinking is you've got 2 teammates who are already fighting on the left. Like, I saw them drop down. You can see their names through the walls here, so you know where they are. And this teammate already went down. So I'm thinking, like, it might be good to start converging over here to try and maybe trade back for this player, to maybe surprise someone who's already committed to fighting against the remaining one.
Well, I didn't notice that at all.
Ah, I see. Because, so like right now, these 2 players, you can see the charger laser is aiming in this direction, and this player is also looking in this direction. You can see that from the fact that they're armored and so they're glowing, and also from the direction the laser just pointed. So you know that they're aiming at this teammate, and hopefully this teammate kites back or something, because they're in a lot of trouble in the position that we can see them in right now. What in the world? Oh, right, this was that part where the camera just completely glitched out on us. The game thought that you were going someplace completely different, and so now... Okay, oof. That's unfortunate. So your teammate does go down there, probably to the charger, and now your other teammate has dropped down on the left as well. They're both down. So now you're in some trouble, because you're stuck bomb rushing, you're 2 down, and I like that you're able to close the gap on that charger. I'm surprised nobody went with them. Like, this player probably could have easily kind of helped them out and saved them there. Maybe they were out of position. But where you're at, you don't have any ink to swim in, and so this is really scary, especially since these guys have both seen there is probably an ouch on their screen right around here showing that the charger just went down. Okay, good job waiting for your teammate to go back in and take that. You're able to get an assist off of that burst bomb. That's huge, especially when someone's throwing a bunch of bombs or you've got a rapid blaster on your team or something. A single burst bomb, even if it doesn't even like direct them, will still often set your teammate up to just one-shot them with something, you know? The reason they got splatted there was probably that they didn't get hit by the direct damage of the bomb, but they were close enough to the bomb that it did indirect damage that comboed with your burst bomb and got the splat there. So you are equally responsible for that pick, even though it only gives you an assist for it. Now from here, again, you've got someone down. You've got a teammate right here with you. You've got a teammate who's pushing all the way forward. Go up with them. You can be pushing more aggressively because you have numbers advantage and because you've seen so much of the map. You've got armor on. Like, when a teammate pops armor, everyone on the team becomes a frontliner. Everyone on the team is going to push forward. But you were already a frontliner, so you should just be kind of pressing W. Go in, get some picks. So from here, again, you've won this fight. One player jumped out of here. The entire mid of the map is painted. Get up this pillar, get over the top. Go quick and establish a position in the enemy base. Unfortunately, it looks like this guy was still here. But I like the aggression, at least. I think you still could have gone for it a little faster. Also, what you can do if this area is painted up like it was, is shark on the back wall of this before you hop over the top and expose yourself. So, like, if you just sit on the back wall, he's going to have a really hard time shooting you, even if he does see you. And you'll be able to see, wait, this whole area is purple. Why is this whole area purple? I should at least throw a burst bomb at that or something before I go over the top. And that might have saved you there. But this is also just a really good shark by Sam. Sam is a really good, experienced, competitive player. He's hit like 2,600. So he's kind of reading, okay, the carbon roller is probably going to want to aggress from here, and this is probably the angle they want to aggress. I'm going to be waiting there, knowing that he has advantage in theory, and that he's going to want to push that. So I, you know, against other players, you know, pushing over onto plat like that, probably going to work out for you. This was just like a pretty hard read from Sam that he was going to be able to get a pick that way. All right. All the way down there, you could have been checking your map. Just flick it open and shut real quick. I talk about this in the how to get out of ranked videos, the S video and the S plus video. You're getting no information from swimming in that way, when you could be getting information about where the enemy team's position is, where your teammates are, where is safe for you to push, where is not safe for you to push, where your opponents are probably looking. All of that information will help you make more efficient decisions about where you want to be and what pressure you can apply as the carbon roller. Maybe it would have been better for you to go left because they're like positioned maybe on the other side of the zone, and if you flank from there, your teammates can pincer in and it'll be a really good fight. Maybe your team is getting pushed back to the right really hard and you need to go in there to support them. You don't have any of that information right now, and so as a result, you're forced to sit up here for a second and take in that information instead of being able to act right away with full knowledge of what's going on. You also didn't get the information that there was a 52 gal who was going to be on the plat there. And what Sam does right here is a beautiful right peek. He moves out of cover. We've talked about this before. Every weapon is held and shot from the right-hand side of you. So if you position yourself so that the way to peek around the wall is on the right, you're behind cover and still able to shoot. Like right now, Sam has line of sight on, I think this is Jamie here, while half of his body is behind cover, and so he's going to be a lot harder to shoot. But he's also a 52 gal, which is one of the few weapons that can actually compete with the carbon for speed of kill time. So this was just a really good ambush on Sam's part, and you basically needed to know that he was there in order for you to win that fight.
Well, like, I usually do like check the map open like a lot. And when I come out spawn, I usually do that. I do that a lot.
And this only illustrated, the importance of continuing to build that habit. So no map there as well. You see the 52 here, so you know that where they're at. It was smart of you to where you threw the burst bomb at first. There was a little flicker in my eye that showed that he was actually moving away to the right. And with someone as experienced as Sam, I anticipate that he's probably seen me first and figure I should probably try to lead my shot, if anything. Because even if you miss and he doesn't move, you've at least cut off his route towards you. And you can continue ducking behind the cover on your left because he doesn't have an angle on you yet. So that's probably where I would aim first. He gets his aim on a lot quicker, and it looks like you're a little bit off with that. The flick wasn't quite there. Again, though, Sam, very strong player. Not at all surprised that he's going to be faster to get that. So now we're kind of in panic mode. We really need to just kind of hold forward and get to the zone. At this point, with how much trouble the 52 has been giving us, I would probably just go left, especially since I just saw a teammate drop there. It ends up working out. Jamie is able to get this pick, so you don't have to go through this K52, but the K52 is one of the stronger weapons at just stalling. Like, it's going to throw a wall out there, and it's going to threaten you with a very fast kill time, and if none of that works out for it, it can just booyah bomb and get a whole bunch of armor that you either have to choose to shred or run away from. Like, it's not easy to push through a 52 who's in a strong position. So there I probably would have gone left and tried my chances with my two teammates versus, at most, their three who are down here, and tried to take the zone from that direction. Also, from left, you would have been getting to the zone to paint it faster. Right now, again, you're not in position. I know that there's so much purple paint down here. I know it's dangerous, but the game ends in about 3 seconds if not enough paint is put on the zone. So you kind of rely, I think, more than you need to on your teammates to paint the zone here. I probably would have gone in and tried to get that sooner. Go ahead.
I was trying to use my burst bomb, still telling me to paint the zone, actually.
Yeah. And, like, that will paint it somewhat, but you can only throw, like, 2 burst bombs. And after that, you have to charge up your ink for a little while. So probably more consistent in terms of the paint output to be trying to get in position to use your main weapon. Now, one opportunity you have here is the Junior gets stuck down here, and the Junior is one of their strongest painting weapons. So if you're able to assassinate them, you take out a lot of their paint capability. And it looks like you guys do that. It looks like there just wasn't enough to keep the zone neutralized after the fact. I think you probably could have stabilized as a team, given maybe like 2 more seconds to, on the game clock. But, think about 2 more seconds. That's about 4 points. It takes you longer than that to decide to drop into mid. And so I think generally what I'm going to say overall from what we've seen in this match, and we'll go and see the KAs before we finish up, but I would say, oh shoot, it ends before whoops. Well, guess we're not going to see those. Anyway, I would say in general to use the map especially, as you swim up, so that you don't have to survey the map, you know, using your own vision, so that you can know basically where you have to go before you get there. And that will enable you to play more aggressively, because as the carbon roller, you need to be playing as aggressively as you possibly can, as your team is painting for you, as you're able to get in position for. You're just not effective at all at short range or at long range, so you need to get into that short range. And I think there were some opportunities to get into short range, to get behind cover, to kind of run in there that you weren't always taking advantage of. Especially when you get something like armor, where you're not going to get there stealthily anyway. So you might as well just rush them down and hope they can't handle how fast you're moving at them.
Yeah, like I usually put them in open, but I think the problem is like I just missed the information right in front of me.
Yeah, there was some that was right in front of you. There was some that you would have needed to check the map for. There was some that's like on the peripheral vision, you know, on the edges of the screen. So the more you play against X-rank players, the better you get at tracking that, because each specific skill level, it definitely has its jumps in how fast people are moving, how stealthily people are moving, how effectively people are aiming. Like, you just get less of a window to figure things out the more time goes on. And so, like I say in a couple of the videos, you know, your eyes get better at the game before your hands do. You get better at seeing what's there in front of you, and then the reaction to it often comes more naturally once you've actually processed what's going on faster. All right. Any questions for me? Anything that you'd like me to go over?
Not really. Nothing is coming to mind right now.
Okay. Yeah, sure thing. And again, like I said to Ashik, if you have any questions, feel free to, you know, pop them in Splatoon chat, Splatoon Talk on the Bravous Discord. Speaking of which, shameless plug. Hey, Bravous Community Discord. If you ever want one of these VOD reviews, just pop into that Discord and send me a DM. I am Gem. So that is how you will request one of these. At the moment, we're backed up into July, mid-July at some point, just because we've got double features on all of the days up until that point. And I am going to be moving in the middle of July, so that might cut into the timing of it a little bit. But in any case, that's how you will get onto this if you want to be. I guess one other thing that I would recommend, I'd say, for you, Desmoki, is to be doing aim drills. So, like, something that you had trouble doing, I think, was you're here, and you realize that somebody is on your back left corner over here, and being able to reliably hit that swing exactly where it needed to be every time. I think that's something that was challenging to you. We saw some swings going this way and this way as you were doing that snap. With the roller, you're able to aim it for a pretty long time, even the carbon roller. You think about like a dynamo. I personally think that if a dynamo is in range, they should literally never miss. That should just be the standard that you aspire to as a dynamo player, because you have so long to aim that shot and so long to react to where your opponents are going to be moving. With carbon, it's a little harder because the swing comes out faster, and you can see I'm missing a few of those. But like, the same principle applies, that they're actually winding up for a pretty long time. Like, rollers are not fast weapons. The only thing that makes them fast is that they one-shot. But like, if I have a swing that's like this, you know, I could be off, on, and off again with my aim, and in the amount of time that it takes for the swing to come down. So focus on, like, being able to get your roller in the right position by the time the swing is coming out. So even just like standing right here and being like, I'm going to vertical flick this target reliably every single time, and then maybe do it on the right, so that you've got, you know, if they're 90 degrees from you, you're perfectly consistent with that because you've practiced that a lot, and then maybe you can adjust from there. Or maybe you can just try other angles, like you just spin yourself around a little bit and go like, oh, he's over there now, and swing and miss like I just did. And then do it again so that you don't swing and miss the next time.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
and I also think I have a problem with like not seeing where my teammates are and what they are doing, trying to do.
I find that the map that's something that I'm bad at as well. That is something that I am currently working on in my own gameplay. I would say that the map is a really good, fast way to figure that out because when you flick it open, enemy positions are harder to see because sometimes they'll be swimming in ink, and so they won't show up on the map right away. You'll need to kind of look and see where is enemy paint going down.
Oh,
excuse me.
Oh yeah, like.
But with your teammates, you actually see the like little squid shape on the map, and so very fast, in a small fraction of a second, I can flick the map open, see really, really roughly, okay, I've got more teammates on the right than on the left, or all of them are in the middle, or my teammates are scattered, so I should be very careful about pushing too far in, or, you know, you can make really quick snap judgments based on that, and then just like, as soon as you flick the map shut, just hold forward towards the largest group of your teammates and try and work off what they're doing. Hey, Sam got his silver badge on the V-scope. Claps, 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 claps. Nice. So that's what usually goes through my head about that sort of thing. Obviously, there were some cases where, like, we were showing on, when you were sitting on plat of Anchovy and you could see your two teammates were getting into a fight on the left. The reason we saw that was because their names are visible through walls. If you ever see, you know, the names of the players, you're not going to see the names of enemy players, because if you saw their names, that would give away what weapon they're using, right? The game doesn't give you that information, so that you can't just deduce what weapon they're using before they fire it. It would also make it too easy to spot your opponents. So if you see a name, it's your teammate's name, unless they're splatted. So you can reliably just be like, oh, there's a name there, that's a teammate, I'm moving there.
I also recently learned that like when an enemy is damaged, they show up on the map.
Mm-hmm. Also, I believe I don't know if it's when they're firing that you see them, but you definitely see the ink going down, and so that's also a pretty useful way of noticing it. But yeah, like, it's not the most important thing to know that, like, they show up on the map when they get hit, just to know that they will sometimes show up on the map just straight up. You just can't rely on it all the time. I guess it is also useful information to know that your teammates are shooting at them, but you'll probably see which direction your teammates are aiming before you see that. One other piece of information that we talked about a little bit, but that it bears repeating, is look at which direction people are facing. If you've got an opponent who is facing away from you, that either means that they're like a charger about to hit a 6 snapshot on you, or that there is a teammate who has gotten their attention. And if that's the case, you can just push that enemy because they're not looking at you, as long as you're in range to do it in a reasonable amount of time. All right.
I got it.
So thank you so much for being willing to put yourself up on the internet for the judgment of others' eyes.
Yeah.
But I hope that you found it helpful. I hope that we were able to give you something that you can kind of focus your efforts on going forward. And let us know if you have any more questions. We'd be happy to answer in Splatoon Talk.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. I learned a lot. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, there is a lot to learn about this game for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Opening up a PB, we're going to play the last 20 minutes or so with the folks in the stream.
Right. I need to open up my Switch again because I closed it.
All right. So we're going to say goodbye on the voice call to Desmoki, but feel free to, message in the chat or anywhere else if you need anything.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So what do we have? We have zones. No. And no. And the rest are probably fine. All right. So we got Jamie, Debbie, Desmoki, and Splash. I don't actually know who Splash is. If they want to identify themselves, that'd be cool.
They are anonymous.
There was a Splash-o-matic player in the last game that was... I think that was Splash, so... I don't know, maybe they're just... Oh, there they are. Smashing Splash. Thanks for adding me, I'm Splash. Thanks for actually telling us your rank. That helps us with putting the teams together here.
Yeah.
Banana's on his way. Actually, I don't think I know Banana's pronouns. Banana is on their way. I was thinking of a different Banana that used to play for the Grillers, but I don't think that's the same Banana.
Different Banana.
Okay, yeah, if you're S+0 highest, then you were not that player who played for the Grillers. They were Div 3 even back then. The Grillers, for those who are confused, is my competitive Splatoon team. Devi is on that team. You can see the same G in our names.
Oh.
Sam was on that team until recently. Has had to take a break due to work and other commitments. Yeah, I'm aware that they were on Beastie Coys and that's what they'll be more known for, but this is how I know them. Rip Burger King. All right, we need one more. Just give us one more person, and then we're good.
One more.
Is Bab there? Is Sam there? Yes, hecka, we do.
Perfect timing.
All right, I'm gonna go get one more drink of water, and then I'll be here. Aha, we got two people. That's how it always goes, isn't it?
Of course.
Okay, so let's try and balance these out as best we can here. So Sam on one side, and then we've got Jamie and Devi. We'll put on the other. Let's see, we know. Put them and them here, I think. Hecka here. I think this should be good. Well, Actually, let's do this and oops, and this. Is that a good idea? Let's do this and oops. Like that. Yeah. Okay, this is my best bet on what's gonna work.
All right.
Let fate decide. Psh.
No.
I shall have control. We make fun of our teammate Ninga for liking Burger King. For he rates it as like an S tier fast food place, and I just feel like that's
what?
Right. See?
That's almost sacrilege.
Yes. I just
especially because we have
cannot get behind it.
No, especially because we have In-N-Out here. That's can't get any better than that.
Yeah.
In my opinion, at least.
Yeah, In-N-Out is a popular one. I'm more on the Five Guys side of that debate, but well, we can agree to disagree there. Those two, at least, I think there's an argument. Burger King, I do not think enters that argument.
Yes, I agree with you. Yeah, I eat at In-N-Out way too much. It's just, it's so cheap. It's so cheap and so good.
And I think even if you're going for mega cheap, there are better deals at McDonald's. For the mega cheap stuff than there are at Burger King. Anyway. So here we go. We've got some pretty reasonable comps, I think, coming out of both of these. Let's take a look at what's going on around the zone. Got Banana trying to take control with the Charger there. A good pick on Splash. We have bomb goes out. That's going to isolate Jamie. Jamie's going to get away. Doesn't look like they focus him, so lucky for purple team. Sam just deciding to peace out someplace inconspicuous. Seems like Banana might have caught on to that. So they're going to just rotate to the other side here. Let's see what Sam can do on the flank. Because at the moment, his team is getting torn up a little bit on the front. Whole bunch of specials go out. Ooh, but Jamie able to pick Sam off, so the flank doesn't even pay off. This is a big deal right now for what we see as blue team. They probably don't see it as blue team. Recall, we are using color lock. I explain this every time, but I'll explain it one more time. That if there's ever a green in the rotation of ink colors, it reflects off my skin, and I get green screened out, which looks very bizarre. So I just keep it color locked so that it's only ever this yellow and blue. It's a purple, I know. Blue is fewer syllables, and I've kind of resigned myself to just saying it that way. Okay, so maybe these teams are less balanced than I was hoping they would be.
I feel I'm just gonna apologize. Just
that was a pretty hard lockout.
Oh yeah. I'm trying out the new I think it's the Splattershot Junior. Haven't used it before.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, so let's try swapping these around a little bit. So let's go with this and see how that plays out. That might work a little better. Devi's hitting your shots. Somehow hit your shots. Devi, you've been playing this game for 3,500 hours. You're good at it, okay?
Oh. Wow.
Looks like we've got just Jamie and Heka figuring their stuff out. They've got 30 seconds to do it. All right. Tower control snapper canal. I like this map mode. I think it the tower path does a really good job of making every single piece of snapper canal, this very large map, matter. There's some game modes where I feel they're just like not built for that map because they're just whole areas of the map that basically go unplayed. But the way that the tower has to progress, basically every area becomes an important part of the map to control at some point in that path. Heka and Splash in a heck of a 1v1 out there. Heka ends up winning it. He's rewarded with some missiles that they're able to fire, and then able to follow up and get the charger there. Ooh, but Desmoki able to cut that off. Ooh, backing up, ends up in a fight versus Avery.
What?
And that right
So
there
close.
is a phenomenal example of the advantage of attack moving and strafing. I guess attack moving is a term that you might hear in MOBAs more often, but because Desmoki was moving, Avery was missing more shots. They're both 4-shot weapons, they're both at range to hit, just a matter of who hits more, and Desmoki was making it more difficult for Avery, so that's why Desmoki was able to come out on top there. I would like to see Desmoki jumping a little bit less. Jumping gives you a more predictable trajectory than just swimming left and right. If you're going to jump, basically, it does throw your opponent's aim off more in the short term, but as soon as they see, oh, he jumped, on the latter half of that jump, they should be able to start tracking you better than they would if you had just moved left and right. So it's a gimmick, basically. It's a gambit. If you jump, you want to be able to take them out by the time you land, because otherwise you're putting yourself at a disadvantage instead of taking advantage of their aim that is thrown off worse than usual. I can explain that in more detail if anybody needs me to. Ooh, big bomb rush coming out. There's not a lot of yellow ink to work with, and so the blue team is scattering a little bit here, but they're managing to make it work. Splash able to get away and is just throwing out a whole bunch of bombs in the same location, but I don't know why they were sitting behind it. Maybe they didn't see that Jamie was there. It was an interesting one. Good charger shot from Banana here. Banana versus Sam. They disengage for a little bit. The Booyah Bomb goes off in the middle of the map. Devi with a flank on Heka might be able to take him down. We'll see if Sam... Yep. Sam able to get a pick there on Banana. So, yellow team has some advantage here. They're able to collapse hard on Devi. Devi with no help there at all. Desmoki forced to back up due to the rain and the missiles being fired at them, and now yellow team is pushing into the base. They've got the tower all the way past first checkpoint already. They're going to be advancing on the second one. Currently, not a lot of resistance being put up by purple team here, and they're just going to take this checkpoint for free. That is the advantage of having frontliners push up in front of the objective. The tower didn't even need to do anything to get there. Sam was just standing there, maybe taking a few shots because he's knee leader and he can reach that far across the map. But that could have been a Sploosh-o-matic, out of range to hit anything else in the game, still would have made it to about 16 before the other team was able to collapse in on that. So, compliments to the yellow team frontline there for creating that advantage and allowing the push to go that far. Alright, missiles go down. Charger is already down from Purple Team. They were actually further ahead than anybody else was in the game there, so probably got caught out a little bit there. Yellow Team has this whole side of the map painted. Just look how yellow the map is right now. Even the areas that have blue ink on them, there's still some yellow competing with it. This is a huge paint advantage right now for Yellow Team, and that's going to make it a lot harder for Blue Team to defend. They are able to get a pick on the tower, and they're able to ride the tower away, but they don't have anywhere to drop off the tower, too. As soon as Yellow Team collapses on this, where do they go? They need to paint up around it right now to have a way out, and they do not. Avery comes up right behind the Charger, actually runs past him, and able to get a trade there, but Charger able to pick him off from behind. Charger gets on the tower. They really need to get some paint up around this first checkpoint area here. That should be their goal right now as the front line. Because aggressing the enemy base is only going to put you in a disadvantaged state. So you only really want to be doing that once you need to get through third checkpoint. As long as you're watching mid, that's usually enough. Devi just completely stuck in the middle of 3 people, unable to get to the tower. Don't blame her for being there at all. The time was ticking down. Someone needed to be on the tower, but it's just not a winning position for her to have to contend with. All right. Well, whew. The numbers are definitely skewed there, but at least it wasn't a knockout. We're getting closer. Getting closer to where we should be balance-wise.
Yeah, I think that was my best game, like, so far.
Awesome.
It's not saying much.
Progress is progress. No matter how.
And I'm kind of cheating a little bit by having your commentary, but it's fine. You know, the little boost helps me out. I'll take whatever I can get.
Let's try it like that. I could play. It would just require, you know, one of the viewers to step out for a round.
Do you want me to step out so you can play this round?
Too late now.
Oh.
It would be on the next round. By the time that you are through the team select menu, we can't go back and change that. I was just going to commentate, you know. I was just going to work on my being on the mic skills because that's a useful skill to have.
Yes,
but I'd be happy to hop in if somebody wants to play against me. Devi says, Avery, when you shot down at me from above, I had like no ink, so I just jumped around.
Yeah.
I don't know if is there any advice there, Devi, or are you just like, oh my god, that was so close?
Devi's just hopping around, trying to not get splatted.
Old Devi Doovie was hopping around, snapper can out like a big playground.
Do, 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 do.
Devi says, Avery had me pinned, so good job for keeping high ground. We ended up trading. Yeah, there you go. Trading against an X-rank player means you're doing something right.
I'm doing...
Because you have to
I'm sure it wasn't luck.
You have to anticipate that their aim is better than yours, and so you know if you're beating them or even trading with them, that means you put yourself in an advantageous position, and so you want to remember that so that you can take that position again if it presents itself.
For sure.
Okay, Sam says time to be rusty. Playing the foil squeezer. Okay, yeah, I can understand being rusty on that weapon. The has a really difficult combo to pull off to get the insta-pop. I'm still pretty bad at. All right, we're fighting over mid. Devi able to get a pick, and it looks like maybe a double there. A triple. Devi going for the quad, and I think... Oh, no, it was the T-Tech that took out the one, so only a triple for Devi. Still, very great play from the roller player there.
Oh, wow.
Always got to respect going over blind ledges when you've got a roller on the other side. Devi goes in a little too hard, eventually ends up getting picked by Sam. And Jamie going to be forced to back up, but does still have plenty of mid control here and is actually able to get the pick on Sam with the help of, I think that's Desmoki back there. Oh no, it's not Desmoki. Whoever the end zap is. Devi able to get the inkjet out of the air, but is in a very vulnerable position, gets traded back. Banana having to back up. It's Splash who's playing the zap. I say false advertising, but Splash able to go in and get a clam in the basket. That is not false advertising. I think any further follow-up might be. Oh, no, they don't stop Banana. Heka and Desmoki probably could have collapsed on that one if they had seen it coming, but probably just didn't have the time. Devi getting in behind the basket. Okay, they're able to stop that one. Devi's still trying. And finally stopped there by Desmoki. But down to 20 points. Really solid push for purple team, and it goes down to a bomb. So still at a slight disadvantage here. They're going to play it safe, pushing into mid here. Heka pops the armor. They're going to try and push in. We'll see what they do. Desmoki's got this power clam. Good pick from that. They know where the roller is, so they can know how to play around it. Splash going to try and push in. Not going to happen. Bubbles in their face. Oh, I'm actually surprised the bubble didn't save Avery there. Yeah. And Sam misses the basket. Just not quite close enough. And for all of that fight that went well, just a few execution errors right at the end of it, and purple team is able to claw their way back into the map. It's pretty much dead even right now, a neutral situation like we would talk about in the S Plus video. Devi shows up and pays Sam a visit in a violent fashion and is able to score, and we'll see how many clams they're able to put in. They're finally collapsing back. Heka trying to get some picks, but there are two people there. Heka goes down, and the game is over. Purple team will be your winners.
GG's for sure.
Sam hitting us with the "I'm very rusty" after top fragging.
Yeah, that's... Oh... Yeah, I don't play this game as much as I probably should.
I mean, you're not obligated. I guess it's not exactly even an obligation for work purposes that you play it. I'm not getting rid of Mako Mart. Mako Mart is fine. Oh, okay. Jamie's gonna... Do you want to spec next round, Jamie? If you want to keep playing, keep playing.
Yeah, because I can... then my whole purpose here is to be like... I can step out if you want to play, Jim.
You can get Avery's commentary.
Yeah, get my amazing commentary on no idea what I'm looking at. If you look to the left here, we have squids swimming around in ink. That is I
mean, they let me commentate Fortnite. I think that's...
you have a lot of experience commentating, though. That's I got some art streams I did like half a year ago.
Oh man, he's building with wood. He's climbing the tower. Oh, there was someone there. I didn't know. I mean, that was really good of them to have good vision and see that.
There's a guns. Oh, he picked up a better quality gun, I think. Maybe. Is that better quality? Worse quality?
I mean, it's the same color, but he went from attack to a pump. I don't remember if that's better or not.
Ah, thanks, Debbie. Yeah, no, I forgot about the trivia stream. Yes, so I have a little bit, but that's about it.
Sam has decreed that he shall be lame.
Not allowed.
All right, here we go. We got Devi on the Hydra, her main. So we'll see how spooky that ends up being for Yellow Team. Yellow Team going pretty aggressive here. They've got a bunch of short-range weapons, and the only backliner is going to be a jet. So this either goes really well for Yellow Team or really badly, because if Devi's able to kite them and stay at range, that becomes scary. But if they're able to rush Devi and get her at awkward moments or angles where she doesn't have charge, then that could be really dangerous for her. Hydra, arguably one of the least mobile weapons in the game. I guess the Dynamo is probably the least mobile, if we don't count the Rainmaker, because the Rainmaker's hilariously bad at that. But the thing about the Hydra is that if it ever moves, it loses its charge, and so it loses all offensive capability as soon as it does anything other than walk. The Dynamo can't even really move while it's swinging, so I guess that the Hydra has it beat in that respect. But they're both very heavy, very slow, require a lot of movement patches, like swim speed or run speed, to make anything happen there. Sam challenging a T-Tech at point-blank range with a Jet Squelcher, not going to go super well for him. So it's a 2-down situation for purple, but yellow has picked up the Rainmaker, so this could definitely go either way. The Rainmaker is not the most powerful weapon. Very situational when it's going to be impactful, and in fact, Devi able to clean that up. So now purple team going to have a priority on the Rainmaker. See what they can get going forward. Splash trying to paint up in front of it. Opting to not go that way. Banana on the T-Tech fearlessly jumping onto the plat with armor is actually able to get the pick on Avery. The Carbon Roller going to clean up, though, and the Ray will probably shut this one down. Gets 2 picks off the Ray. Might even get a 3rd with Devi, and yes, that is a clean wipe. Ooh, Desmoki going up over the top with the Rainmaker first, not waiting for the frontliners to go in ahead of him. That is a risky play there, but the frontliners are able to get it, get their way in. Not able to stop Devi, though. That's kind of the turret that needs to go down here. Sam able to pick Devi off, but now the rest of the team is available to help stop the push, and that one's not going to go any further than it did last time. Yellow team on the right-hand side, still trying to make their way into the base here. Avery actually making a run at the Rainmaker, picks it up. Not going to quite make progress, but will definitely stall the game out, and honestly, that's not a bad thing to have done. And there was potential there to maybe even increase the lead slightly. So at that point, suiciding for the points, not bad. Great job from Yellow Team to maintain control of the plat here. Sam just holding it down, giving jumps for his teammates to come back into, and they're able to kind of throw themselves at the enemy team. The Ray pushing Devi out of position. This might be an opportunity for the Yellow Team to run in and grab it. Nope, they're not going to go for it. They're going to pop missiles, but the Rainmaker is going to reset to mid. So now the fight's going to ensue for plat. Avery not able to back up in time. The rest of the Yellow Team is able to get the pop here. Splash flanking around the right-hand side. Can they find Sam? They do not catch him in time. Heka is there to help. And between the two of them, they are able to single splash out. So now Yellow Team once again making the push. Devi going to pop up over the top here soon and reveal herself. Oh no! A triple for the Rainmaker. Sam going to be able to just swim this right up to the pedestal. Only a T-Tech in the way. Heka goes down, but Sam is on the pedestal already. Yeah! It's over.
Okay, that was my best game.
Yes, no squid bagging, please. If that is happening, we do not appreciate that behavior in the matches. Devi posting in chat, tip, do not stand with the back line there. That way everybody dies. Mm-hmm. It's whenever there's like high amounts of splash damage or something, if a lot of people are standing near the same place, there's always that risk that you just all go down to the same thing. There's a Stingray to worry about. There's the Rainmaker shots to be worried about. So a little bit of space is always a good thing. You always want to be with a teammate, but not so close that the same splat bomb will take you both out of the game. All right, we're going to do one more to finish the stream up here. I think there might be someone who wanted to sit out, and if so, I would be willing to honor that. If Jamie's willing to play...
I think that chicken might have been mine, Devi.
Oh, Devi,
I'm pretty sure I remember that. I'm pretty sure I remember, like, seeing you and being like, go chicken!
Okay, Jamie wanted to spec. Okay. So I think I can just take Jamie's place here. I think that will not be bad balancing there. All right, let's see which zones map we end up on Schellendorf. What do I want to play here? We've already got one of those. We definitely need some more. Let's run this. I've got to build for this weapon now. Okay, so that's... I like this. I like this. No, Dwarf! Haha, you have to put up the Hydra on glass. Ha!
Oh no.
No, Sam. If there's anyone in the lobby who can handle that, it's probably Sam. Sam might play a charger here, which is really scary for Devi to have to peek. So this will be interesting. Debbie's like, a moment for me to cry inside before I fight Sam's E-Leader.
Yep.
Ganondorf Institute, yes. This is Breath of the Wild 2. It came out a lot earlier than anyone thought it did. Alright, let's see what they're bringing. Ooh, no E-Leader. They've actually got the Nautilus coming out. So Debbie won't even have to deal with that. Alright. Hello there. Hey, cut that out. I don't want you up there. Hey, you too. You stop that.
Ah! Oh!
And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, was an excellent right peek that I'm very proud of for seeking out. You do not outrange me. You cannot push that.
That is right. You cannot do that.
Oh, hello. Let's just, oh, that was silly. Nice play there from Desmoki. I need to be more respectful of where the carbon is going to come out. That's one down. Oh man. Okay, I can't actually hit that. Yes, let's go. Let's just trade places here, and I'll use the wall. Silly little cross up there. I think Desmoki had trouble tracking me. Nope. Oh boy. I do not approve.
Yes! Oh my god. Ah! Oh. Oh.
Oh, I need to use my wall earlier than that. That was not good. Okay, good. Team's able to clean up for me. That was a pretty hard read on the positioning I have. I was anticipating like which direction you were going to run away once you saw you couldn't shoot past the splash wall there. All right, good job, team.
GG's.
This is a museum of all the cut content from Breath of the Wild. Yeah, there you go. There is a call out on this map called Swords. Just saying. All right. Thank you everybody so much for watching. We really appreciate having you all here. Thanks for making this show as big as it has gotten. It's always fun to put on every week. Anybody who would like to get their VODs reviewed, I know I've already got a message from Banana, so we'll be talking over Discord. But once again, if you're not in this Discord already, go to here, and you'll find me, Gem, and be able to DM me, and we can get talking about when we can review your footage. So today was a double feature. Usually we only do one per day, and then we spend a little bit more time playing. Today, with all of the coaches missing, figured, let's just get a second VOD review in there. We had Simon had something come up, and Mikey had to get some work done that was a little bit more urgent. So maybe in future weeks we'll be able to get a little bit more of the coaches on here, and we'll do a little bit more of that league part of the show that we typically do. But always happy to be able to play with the viewers as well. That's a lot of fun. So thanks for coming out. Thanks for playing. Thanks for helping be a part of the coaching session, because we couldn't have done this without you guys being here to be in the VOD that we reviewed for Desmoki. So thank you all for participating, and we'll see you all next time. We do this every week on Tuesdays from 3 to 5 p.m. It's Arizona time, so right now it's aligned with Pacific time. Once we hit the daylight savings time marker, it'll be back to Mountain time. We're just confusing like that. But so 3 to 5 on that weird time scale that I just explained. See you all then.